It says at the top episode 8, but that is a lie. That is a damn dirty lie. It is in fact episode 9. Boom, there we go. Episode 9 of The Paper Thing. Season 6? Yes, we've reached season 6, which is a lot of episodes of this cursed discussion of the media. And on Fridays, of course, we do the magazine special, the show that costs me on average about £30 a week, which is economically unwise, but you know, yank the army, says Markinosis, yank them all off. Yeah, and look in the top right hand corner there, Nazi or not, which is going to be, I suspect, the most exciting feature in this edition. Drop the paper fund link, please, says Markinosis. Yes, paper fund link is paypal.me/conquest of the useless. Is this an Operation Paperclip retrospective? Well, as usual with the magazine special, I've not actually cracked the covers of any of these magazines, so they are fresh, so fresh and so clean. So I will be finding out with you what is inside them. And in today's show, we've got Military History Magazine, Yank the Army Weekly. I don't know why they've done a thing where they've put the cover of this 1940s magazine straight behind their own cover. Makes it very confusing. Anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. We've got New Scientist. What will we find out from New Scientist? Increasingly lowbrow in its approach. We've got Fast Company magazine. It's entrepreneur porn. So enjoy that. Although an excellent picture of Riz Ahmed on the cover. And we've got Elle featuring Dakota Johnson and a beginner's guide to sexting, which is the reason I picked that one up. So we're going to go in order. We'll go military history first, I guess. Then we'll do Fast Company. Then we'll do New Scientist. Then we'll do Elle, something like that. Let's do that. Fast Company sounds cursed. The papist thing, says Red Tick Seed. But before that, I will just give you today's headlines, because that's, I feel like the paper thing should always have papers on it. So, from the Daily Mail, are scientists about to crack the secret of living to 130? God, I hope not. Main story, unions at war with PM over back to office. All those darn unions, join a union. The Times comes with Max Hastings talking about the Belfast he knew. Hundreds of UK troops ready to bolster Ukraine's neighbours. Great war! Wow, a war on the European continent. Lots of arms industry executives are jizzing at the thought. Tory rebels retaliate in row over blackmail. There's a picture of a beautiful creature, and then also the Duchess of Cambridge. Swipe right for a rip-off. Tinder charges over 50s more. So, couldn't care less. Front page of the Mirror, number 10, blackmail storm, lowest of the low. And finally, The Sun with royal exclusive, maid exposes arrogant and entitled prince, the least surprising front page in years. Right. Mark Canosi says Dakota Johnson looking like if Claudia Winkleman was smooth like sea glass. The Research Arena, petition for chat. It's fake. Chat, it's faked to make a return appearance. TRA, I'll bring that back next week. Yeah. C122, H122 doesn't want to live to be 130 in the UK. Me neither. Chronotherm simply doesn't want to live. We like you having you around, Chronotherm. Mark Canosi says Tinder's pricing should vary based on the age range you want to message. The Burnzoid, insert every day I wake up meme here. Mark Canosis, in relation to your own age. Yeah, we want you to live, Chronotherm, says the Research Arena. Yes, that's true. Right, so, here we go with Military History Magazine. How cursed is this going to be? Pretty fucking cursed, I say. Right, so, inside, an ad that gives you a sense of who reads Military History Magazine. you can get yourself a personalised super sturdy hammer. For instance, you can get Dad's hammer written on it, George, or simply serial killer. There's a personalised 6-in-1 pen, a personalised extendable flashlight, personalised garage mats, a personalised grooming kit, a set of faux leather coasters, or a personalised beer caddy cooler tote. All from Lillian Vernon, the personalisation experts. Red Tixie says it's no vibrator hammer, is it? No. How racist will Military History magazine be? Hard to say, isn't it? Pretty racist, I'd say. Right, in the contents page, let's see what we've got coming up. Generation Yank, American GI reporters, photographers and artists went into harm's way to cover every theatre of war in World War II. There's an interview with Jeanette Varberg, a new look at Vikings. Japan's Trafalgar in 1905, a Japanese admiral who saw himself as the reincarnation of Horatio Nelson, decimated a Russian fleet at Tsushima Strait. Nazi vulture or Prussian eagle, Alexander von Falkenhausen navigated the complicated politics of wartime Germany, says John Costa. MacArthur's gamble amid the War of 1812, a bold American general raided deep into British Canada. 64, the Lost Citadel, Armenian residents of the Transcaucasian stronghold of Kars endured centuries of strife until a final betrayal. There's a hardware article about HIJMS Mikasa, neutral unless willing and unable to defend itself against all enemies. Switzerland has thus spent centuries in relative peace. Yeah, and also just like shuffling away all the hidden Nazi gold. Right, there's going to be a lot of bad collectibles available in this magazine, and here's one. Get into the groove. The ultimate jewellery must-have. The hoop earring is the calling card of a woman who lives life on her terms, wrote The Economist in 1843. Very nice piece, very unique. Italians got it right. We'll consider more. Thanks, is a review from someone from Illinois. Mark Canosis says Transcaucasian stronghold of Cars. Weird, because pretty much none of the Transcaucasians I know can drive. The Research Arena, my life is... Research Arena, lovely to have something to look forward to as I isolate in my apartment. My boyfriend has COVID. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry about that. Dad's Hammer are a decent 70s Dutch prog band, says Mark Canosis. I could believe that. Diet Coke, yes. Not sponsored by Diet Coke. Yeah, that guy has a Nazi-ass name, you're right. Any coins? I don't know yet. As I said, I don't break the covers of the magazines before we start the show. So who knows? I think there's a good chance there'll be coins. They've got an obituary for Colin Powell. There is the guy who ordered the Iwo Jima flag raisings has died. He was Colonel Dave Severance. He was 102 when he died. Yeah. More ugly jewellery that you can get. With depleting mines, turquoise, the most sacred stone in the Navajo, has become increasingly rare. So yours for $99 if you want that. Coin guns, says Gonzo Socialism. 1727 says, as a trans-Caucasian can confirm, we can't drive. Hello, Fluffweasel, how are you doing? Hi, Soul Chicken, it's newspaper time already. Yeah, though it's Friday, so it's magazine special. Jeanette Varberg is one of Denmark's leading historians, says here, and she's having a new look at the Vikings. She says, these are apparently the most common misconceptions about the Vikings. The most common one is that they wore helmets with horns. They didn't. Another misconception is that all Scandinavians were warriors. First and foremost, the Vikings were formidable sailors, able to cross the open sea in well-built, streamlined ships. Next, they were fierce and skilled warriors. Last but not least, they were hard-working farmers, always on the lookout for new lands to put under their ploughs. Could have medals, aka war coins. Advertising to boomer men who hate their wives. Yep, fully. She said, how has her research changed perceptions about the Vikings? Hope to make evident that in just a few hundred years, from 750 to 1050, Scandinavia went from a region of non-Christian, unstable, petty kingdoms to one of the most powerful Christian kingdoms. During that period, the Scandinavian kingdoms underwent tremendous development. The Vikings built cities and colonies in the British Isles, in the Frankish kingdoms, along Russian rivers, on the North Atlantic Isles, in Greenland and in Canada. With ships, swords, battlefield skills, trading savvy, and a strong belief that fortune favours the brave, they left their mark throughout the world. Very little reference here to the raping. Very little reference to any of the raping here. Military history wank, says Red Tick Seed. Vikings had horns on their helmets to C-122, H-122. Richard E. Fleming, US Marine Corps, Medal of Honor. They've got like just a page about a guy who won a medal. I guess that's a regular feature. Pin-ups for vets, supporting hospitalised veterans and deployed troops since 2006. It's just an excuse so you can buy a pin-up calendar and say that you bought it for a good cause. Blurst of Times followed the channel. Thank you, Blurst of Times. Thank you also to Magic Dan for following the channel, and to Fancy Wookie, and also to the Airers for subscribing in Tier 1. What we learned from the 1419 to 34 Hussite Wars. Here are the lessons from the Hussite Wars, which in 1415, Roman Catholic Church officials condemned Czech Christian theologian and reformer Jan Hus for heresy and burned him at the stake, but attempts to suppress his followers, the Hussites, in the Kingdom of Bohemia failed. When Sigismund of Hungary inherited the throne of Bohemia in 1419, he sought Pope Martin V's aid in launching an anti-Hussite crusade. It triggered a general revolt in Bohemia, pitting the Hussites and their supporters against those loyal to Sigismund. Apparently what we've learnt from it is continually innovate, fight the battle you want to fight, maintain a united front, and beware the feigned retreat. Yeah, always beware the feigned retreat. This is Playboy for Alex Jones fans, the C-122, H-122. The Burnside, I want to see Dr. Eleanor Yaniger review this article. Yeah, it'll be good. Here is a thing of just about a... It's a battleship, the last of 6 modern battleships ordered for Britain by the Imperial Japanese Navy in 1902, the HIJMS Mikasa. Like, who doesn't like a one of these diagrams where they break it down? I've lost... My mind has forgotten the term for that, you know? A cross-sectional diagram, yeah. Big ship, big ship. The research arena, the only medal awardees we should be talking about are the winners of the Dickin medal. Rach Schulte, the Feigned Retreat, a power bottom special. This is good chat energy today. Generation Yank, from June 1942 through 1945, frontline American soldiers filed stories and photographs on World War II and its aftermath for a select readership themselves. Frugilus, those diagrams always remind me of the Bin Laden cave hideout articles. I love that. I love that there was a time when people pretending to be serious people were like, well, yeah, obviously he's got a massive cave system with, like, fully tricked out cave system. Turns out not. C-122, H-122 says that Japanese warship is Boaty McWarboat. Yeah, so anyway, apparently Yank magazine was the brainchild of Egbert White, real name, a World War I infantry veteran who'd written for the American military newspaper Stars and Stripes. Tracing its origins to a Civil War-era regimental newspaper, the latter publication saw its heyday in 1918 and 1919, when a reported 500,000 soldiers turned to its news on matters concerning the American Expeditionary Forces on the Western Front. Remains in print today. As a complement to Stars and Stripes, White envisioned a magazine written in the authentic voice of enlisted soldiers, a new magazine for a new war. White's writers, photographers and artists would understand the ordeal of the enlisted man because they would wear the same uniform, have the same lowly ranks, be excluded from the same officers' clubs, and endure the same risks, indignities and frustrations. So, created by Army Sergeant George Baker, the comic strip Sad Sack debuted in Yanks' June 17, 1942 issue. It depicts the hapless PFC Sack's constant and usually losing struggles with bureaucracy regulations. Strip took the sting out of the real struggles of army life. Did it? Fucking hell. There we go. There's Sad Sack. Wipers Times, the only valid army newspaper, says Waddish the point. And of course they had their equivalent of Page 3 girls there. In addition to news of the war's far-flung battlefronts, Yank offered readers stateside sports news, humorous features, and perennial pin-up favourites. Anyway, this is quite a good... This is actually a fairly interesting interview. Japan's Trafalgar. In 1905, a Japanese admiral who fancied himself the reincarnation of Horatio Nelson waged a battle for the ages against a Russian fleet at Tsushima Strait. I know nothing about this battle. That's a great illustration there. That image... I don't say who that image is by, but clearly it's... Chronotherm getting gassed in the Battle of the Bulge and being given this mag and its cartoons instead of morphine. Dames with gams, says Mark Kenosis. So, yeah, anyway, that's quite interesting. But, you know, I mean, literally, this is for a very specific type of dad, this magazine. Of course, they have a map of it to show you how the battle went. This is, I mean, baffling series of lines. Mark Kenosis, okay, but how pissed off would Nelson be if he was reincarnated as a Japanese guy? The Burnzoid, I think that was the first time a non-Western Navy soundly defeated a Western one. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's just not one I know a lot about. What I love about this magazine, Military History magazine, is that for every article about a battle, it gives a little takeaway box to give the reader a sense that at some point they might be commanding a military force. What you learn from this battle is newer is often better. Know your Mahan. Togo's adherence to Alfred Thayer Mahan's theories of naval warfare enabled him to outthink and outfight his opponent, Rozhesvensky. Loss has results beyond the strictly military. The debacle of Tsushima helped fuel Russia's 1905 and 1917 uprisings. Yeah, helped lead to the Russian Revolution, says the Burnzoid. Gonzo Socialism, the kind of dad that has a Confederate flag in his man cave. Right, now on to the article of, was he a Nazi or was he not a Nazi? I'm going to show you the picture of the man who they're wondering whether he was a Nazi. Ready? It's a Nazi-ass looking face, isn't it? That's a very Nazi-ass looking face. Mark Kenosis, can you call a navy that launches from Vladivostok Western? Lol. Chronotherm, I bought a copy of the Prince that ended every chapter with advice for middle managers. Incredible. But fully Nazi. VAR says definitely a Nazi. Mark Kenosis, either a Nazi or Foucault. Even his glasses scream Nazi, says a Royal Flush. Alexander von Falkenhausen led Turks against the British and Chinese nationalists against the Japanese, spared Belgian hostages, and conspired in Adolf Hitler's assassination. The thing about the assassination attempt by various Fonds, including von Stauffenberg, is that it's not that they were good guys. It's just that they'd had enough for Hitler. They were pretty fucked up guys themselves. Name like that, definitely a Nazi, says Red Pixie. Founded just after the end of World War I, the Steel Helmet paramilitary organisation comprised veterans who shared both nostalgia for the vanished German monarchy and a hatred of communism. Initially anti-Nazi, in 1933, it became part of that party's Storm Abteilung. Abteilung. So, yeah, fully Nazi. Fully a Nazi. Here he is, not being a Nazi, standing with Adolf Hitler. He'd apparently, In 1933, Falkhausen took command of the German military advisors modernising and training Chiang Kai-shek's Chinese Nationalist Army. Falkenhausen remained in that post until recalled to Germany in 1937. Here's an extremely bad guy from a movie-looking motherfucker. Look at that. Anti-Hitler Nazi, even worse. Yeah. People who like history read up on the Russo-Japanese war. Sounds like he was anti-one specific Nazi. Called the steel helmets because they all got shot in the dick. Anti-Hitler Nazi, even worse, is what's the point. It's the style at the times. Ooh, War Crimes Weekly. What a lovely bonus is use of weapons. Yeah. Anyway, pages and pages on this guy. Yeah, and he just carried on. He got an award from China. He got China's Order of the Sacred Tripod in 1958 on his 80th birthday. What does the VAR say here? Asked once by a Chinese reporter to describe Falkenhausen. Who's Shan? Right. One Belgian who remembers Falkenhausen was Chinese-born Xian Zhuling, whose family members were influential friends of Chiang, and whose cousin had served as general under Falkenhausen's oversight. Gifted student, she travelled to Belgium in 1929 to study advanced chemistry. Xian later broke her arranged engagement to a Chinese fiancé in order to marry Belgian physicist Gregor de Perlingy in 1933. Her family reminded her Falkenhausen was a man who could be trusted. When members of the Belgian resistance killed 3 Gestapo officers in the town of Ecosiens on July 7, 1944, in the tense wake of the D-Day landing, superiors in Berlin ordered the arrest of 97 random townsmen to be shot in retaliation. Qian, though expecting her first child, drove to Falkenhausen's headquarters on a rainy night and pleaded with him to spare the hostages. She must have been persuasive, for the governor did exactly that, for which he was immediately summoned to Berlin and removed from command. 2 weeks later, he was again called on the carpet and immediately sent to Dachau. Falkenhausen's arrest had nothing to do with the Belgian hostage issue. He had been in contact with members of the failed July 20th plot to kill Hitler. He was liberated by American soldiers on May 5th, 1945, to be promptly arrested by Belgian authorities as a war criminal. Belgian leftists pressured him to incriminate King Leopold III as a pro-Nazi collaborator, but Falkenhausen, a monarchist, flatly refused. For nearly 6 years, he cooled his heels in a cell awaiting trial. In 1951, Jean, then a heroine of the Belgian resistance, showed up at the 72-year-old Falkenhausen's trial, producing Belgian witnesses to his act of mercy and words of praise from President Chiang. His defense attorney also pointed to the general's known role in the July 20th plot. Though the court sentenced Falkenhausen to 12 years of hard labour, it released him after 3 weeks, citing time served. Ungrateful Belgium, you will not have my bones, he proclaimed on crossing the border. Very much something that like a very chill dude would say. Falkenhausen lived till 87, dying in 1966. There we go. Worth noting, was given that award by Taiwan, China, not real China. Yeah, fake China, says Red Tick Seed. Yeah, thank you for deeming posture check and hydrate C122H122. Chronoburn, this guy would make a great Oscar bait movie. What NATO post did he get, says the Burnzoid. Yeah, so I think we're going to say Nazi. Funny enough. MacArthur's Gamble. Amid the War of 1812, an American general eager to strike a blow against the British mounted a bold raid deep into western Upper Canada. There he is, doing his bold raid. Big long story about that. Wanking off about that. Lots of pictures of muskets and shit. Neutral unless, due in part to its readiness to fight, Switzerland spent centuries in relative peace. Fuck you. Fuck off. Fucking Switzerland. Anyway, lots of war porn there for people who love it, including about its hardened shelters and underground hangars that protect much of the Swiss Air Force. The Lost Citadel. For centuries, Armenian residents of the Transcaucasian stronghold of Kars, KRS, not KRS. Whoop whoop, it's the sound of the police. Watch invaders come and go until its final betrayal. There's some cool pictures in this article. Switzerland absolutely needs invading, says use of weapons. A fake country, says Red Tixie. Gaddafi was right about dividing it up, says use of weapons. My friend lives in Switzerland for a bit and she had a nuclear bunker in her basement. Anyway, this hidden stronghold's kind of interesting. Many pages on that. In the books, they review a book by Anne Hagendorn, the sleeper agent, about an atomic spy in America who got away. There's yet another fucking Churchill book. This one by Anthony Tucker Jones. And a thing about SBS and SAS Commander George Jellicoe. There's an article about a battlefield. Can you match these caregivers with a battle campaign in which they distinguish themselves? Can you name these celebrated citadels? And various questions about some other battles. Coins! Coins! You were right, there are coins. Found 1,600-year-old Roman gladiator coins. Hold the glory of Rome in the palm of your hand. Coins, coins, coins. Qualities are extremely limited. Less than 2,000 coins are currently available. Demand is certain to be overwhelming, so call now for your best chance at this authentic piece of the Roman Empire. Roman gladiator bronze, $39.95 plus shipping. Coins. Burnside, I'm always celebrating citadels. This was written by Markov Peep Show. Yeah, either Markov... This is a magazine that Alan Partridge would get for his cable show, for his military strategy cable show, and Mark from Peep Show would desperately want to write for. Coins, says Gonzo Socialism. Coins, says Gethin Wyn Jones. Original Nazi coins, the Romans, says C122H122. Mark Kenosis, if I want an authentic piece of the Roman Empire, I'd just go and chisel some bits off Hadrian's Wall. Roman glory is fake, says the Research Arena. Mark Kenosis, technically illegal, but no one's watching. Right, so there you go. Mark from Peep Show's favourite magazine, Military History. Remarkably expensive for what it is. £7. A lot of reading in it. The Burnside, my boss would love this. He's okay, but if you ever want to get him off your back, you just need to mention tanks. Chronotherm says, what if I'm Roman? £7. Yes, £7 for that. This is the thing. All the weird magazines cost way more. The normal magazines, much less. But, you know, fungible tokens of the Roman Empire, says use of weapons. So anyway, give me your... What do you think of that military history magazine? I think if you're a military history obsessive, it's probably a 9. If you're, you know, someone who goes outside and has normal hygiene, probably a 3. Minus £6.90, says the Red Tick Seed. Yeah. Mark Kenosis says it passed the train journey test. Definitely passes the train journey test, no question of that. Minus 69 Nazi war crimes, says Gonzo Socialism. Use of weapons, says minus Nazi war criminals who escaped justice. Right, so, I put New Scientist. Should we do New Scientist up? Let's do New Scientist. We'll rattle through this. Right, so, front page. Oh, encoding overloaded. We were doing so well. It hadn't overloaded at all. We're going to get a delay now. What's it? How annoying. We were doing all right. Would you read it on a train, though, says C122H122? Nah. Frugilus says, STEM brain time. Mark Kenosis, a new kind of quantum computing. They haven't even got the first kind working properly yet. Fully that. Right, so, on the front page of the New Scientist. Can you live free of toxic chemicals? Probably not. Mission to Neptune. Okay, I'd rather not. A new kind of quantum computing, as Mark says. They haven't got the first type working yet. Hints of a huge exomoon. Love it when I see hints of a huge exomoon. How letters get their shapes. And the main report, the pursuit of happiness. What it means to be happy and how to get better at it. Living with COVID plus edible straws. Station 11 reviews. Doomsday shipwreck. And a robot powered by algae. Burnside, wonder if happiness article will mention capitalism and material circumstances at all. I bet you it doesn't. C122 says, can spam calls fuck off? Did you get a spam call? I fucking hate that. Right. Alright, so in the magazine, there's an advert for the New Scientist debate, which is on the UK's nuclear waste and the geological solution. The New Scientists will never really question capitalism, just so you know. Tongan volcano erupts. The huge explosion of an underwater volcano in the Pacific archipelago was a once-in-a-millennium event, reports Alice Klein. How do we know? How can we know that? Blessed of Time says, edible straws, whatever happened to those Cocoa Pops ones Kellogg's made back in the day? They were class. Yeah. Can electric fields help plants grow? Claims that a wind-powered device can boost crop yield. Don't convince other scientists. A swimming robot powered by photosynthesis. A Marimo is a ball of algae that forms in freshwater currents. A robot piloted by a ball of algae can swim through water and move around obstacles powered only by photosynthesis. It's been created by Neil Phillips at the University of West England and his colleagues. They built a robot with no electronic parts, meaning it won't interfere with any electromagnetically sensitive measurement instruments. The team inserted a Marimo, a ball of algae, inside a 3D printed plastic spherical shell equipped with vents. When the group submerged the shell in water and exposed it to light, the Marimo produced oxygen from photosynthesis, which pushed the shell away from the light. Mark Kenosis, whenever anything like that from my childhood disappears, I just assume they were found to be carcinogenic. Chronotherm says, don't electrify your fields. C122H122 says, because capitalism works. How can we end the pandemic? They ask. It's a big thing. What COVID-19 becoming endemic really means, that's quite useful. Astronomers may have found a huge moon around a Jupiter-like exoplanet. May. Panic future, reject modernity. Paper straws, embrace tradition. Chocolate wafer straws. The West African script shows how letters evolve over time. The symbols we used to write words evolved to become visually simpler over the years. An analysis of a writing system from West Africa shows they can do so over a few generations. The script used to write the Vai language was invented in Liberia in 1833 and still in use today. Those who devised it may have had some awareness of the Latin and Arabic alphabets, but the Vai script isn't model on either. Its characters denote whole syllables, while alphabetic letters represent the individual sounds. There are approximately 200 characters in the Vai script. What makes it interesting, says Piers Kelly at the University of New England, Australia, is that it has a nearly complete historical record. It's first documented by external scholars in 1834, has been studied at least 16 times since. This means that the character's evolution over time, over the first 170 years of use, can be measured. That's interesting. Mark notices, remember those Nesquik straws where you drank milk through them? It was filtered in the straw to turn it into milkshake. 100% yes. The Burnzoid and Chronotherm both wish that they were balls of algae piloting a robot. University of New England, Australia sounds totally fake, doesn't it? Anyways, tons of stuff. Electric implants seem able to regenerate degraded cartilage. It's good news for me because my knees are fucked. Rachology says, that's an interesting study. I was reading the paper the other day about the characters. Cool. Chemical consumption. Product labels are filled with jargon about chemicals, the lack of them. How can we know what it all means, says Anna Turns. She is the author of Go Toxic Free, Easy and Sustainable Ways to Reduce Chemical Pollution. Burnzoy says, same here, knees, use of weapons, robot knees, panic feature, bad knee streak. Yeah, my knees are fucked, and I am a mere late 30s man. My knees are fucked. Knees are for the young, so C122, H122. I'm not technically old, am I? Red Tixie still has good knees. Well, W's in the chat for Red Tixie. Mark Canosis says, knees fine, back fucked. Chronotherm, go toxic free by burning the Daily Mail at every opportunity. All of my joints are fucked. I win, says Slinkenwire. Yeah, actually, most of mine are, but my knees particularly. Hi, how's it going, dude? Followed the channel. Thank you. How's it going, dude? Chanda Prescott Weinstein, an assistant professor of physics and astronomy and a core faculty member in women's studies at the University of New Hampshire, is a researcher in theoretical physics and focuses on cosmology, neutron stars, and particles beyond the standard model. She's currently reading Imani Perry's new book, South to America, A Journey Below the Mason-Dixon Line. She's watching Big Love, and she's working on long-term planning for her research. Anyway, she writes, how does fusion work? It may seem surprising that the way stars fuse isn't crystal clear, but scientists are always honing the details. This is really interesting. So far, New Scientist is turning out well. C122, H122 says, working in retail really fucks your back and knees for £8.91. Chronotherm, brain is fucked. Brain is the joint. Big Love, the Mormon HBO drama from 15 years ago. Yep, that's what she's watching. The letters are all serious and well written, so that they play no part in what we're doing. This selection of objects appears random, but it reflects the history, achievements, and ambitions European Space Agency's key establishment, the European Space Research and Technology Centre. ESA STEC in 99 Objects is an online project that uses a diverse collection of items to tell the story. It's an optical micro camera used for measuring mechanical shifts on satellites, a plant glowing by chlorophyll fluorescence, a phenomenon ESA plans to study in orbit when its Fluorescence Explorer spacecraft launches in the mid-2020s, an artificial bone made by 3D bioprinting, which could one day improve medical care in space by providing skin and bone grafts, and the middle row shows a microsection of circuit board that ESA may use in future satellites, an arm of the Aztecs Interact Centaur robot, which was crawled on Earth from the International Space Station in 2019, and the helmet of a prototype space suit designed in the 90s to be donned in just 2 minutes in microgravity. Bottom row shows a simulant of moon dust using tests exploring how best we could extract the oxygen in real moon dust for use in breathable air, fuel and other materials in future lunar settlements, an instrument called an internal occulter that creates an artificial solar eclipse to enable the study of the sun's corona, and a 3D printed nut and bolt made of high performance engineering plastic called Peak. The entire collection can be viewed online. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Burnzoid, no poems, you fuck, says use of weapons. Rachel G said the characters study has got an application for lots of things, like understanding how an Egyptian hieroglyph somehow ended up being the basis for one of our letters of the alphabet. Can't remember which one off the top of my head. Well-written letters, boo! People are allowed to watch old TV shows. Stem brain poem, no stem brain poems. A bird-shaped letter is based off hieroglyphs, says use of weapons. Burnsword, I saw that a study came out recently showing that Musk's Starlink satellites have hindered the ability to spot near-Earth asteroids. Yeah, he fully littering space, the cunt. All the world to stage a fictional pandemic may a little close to home, but the lives of travelling troupe of actors make for strangely comforting viewing, says Elle Hunt about Station 11. She's a freelance writer and she's based in Norfolk. Yeah, she moved to Norfolk and is now at the UEA. Otherlands, A World in the Making is a book that they review. They also recommend The Orbital Children, a dizzying sci-fi anime set in a future where AI has given people the freedom to travel through space. When a group of children get stranded on a space station, they must fight to survive. That comes onto Netflix on January 28th, which is my birthday, and next Friday. So the magazine special next week is also the birthday special. What will we do then? Probably the same. Might have cake. The Burnzoid, I need bad poems. Makes me feel better about my own bad teen poetry. The Burnside, I saw that, based asteroid death just got more likely. Travellers, no one tell Patel. All poems are banned, says use of weapons. In the film column, Simon Ings, a novelist and science writer, says back to the sci-fi old school. While the streaming services get busy making the next generation of blockbusters, it frees up space and schedules for a few classics that are well worth a watch. What's he recommending? Hard to be a God. A West German, Soviet, French, Swiss co-production based on the 1964 novel of the same name by Soviet sci-fi writers Arkady and Boris Strugatsky. Story is set in a new universe where humanity has evolved beyond money, crime and warfare to achieve an anarchist techno-utopia. Self-appointed progressors cross interstellar space to secretly guide the fate of other less sophisticated human civilizations. I mean, that sounds like a banger. Yeah, that sounds like a banger. Has anyone seen that? Hard to be a God is a good book. Good movie too, says Red 60. Mark Osis says, yes, Hard to be a God. Awesome. Use weapons, have a good teaching. Right, The Pursuit of Happiness article is by David Robinson. It says, the happiness revolution emerging from scientific research suggests we can all do things to boost the well-being of society and ourselves. But how much do we really know about what makes us happy? That is such a Route 1 illustration for a thing about happiness. I mean, it's a very, very hard to watch film, says Mark Knosis about Hard to be a God. Just a grinding, slow misery, but it rules. See, that's the kind of film I like. I love a grinding, slow misery. Right, they rank happiness. Do you want to guess what the happiest countries in the... What are the 3 happiest countries according to the World Happiness Report, published annually by the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network? It uses the Cantrell ladder, which involves asking people to imagine where they view themselves on a ladder, with the lowest rung representing the worst possible life, equivalent to 0, and the top rung being the highest at 10. The Burnzoid, you have got 2 out of 3. You've got 2 out of 3. Finland, Denmark, Switzerland are the top 3. Norway is in at number 6. Mark Kanosis says Hard to be a God, 13 years from start of production to final release, and the director died before it came out. New Zealand ranks 9th on the list. Afghanistan, since we freed it, it's the C-122, H-122. The UK comes in at 17th, by the way. Which seems high. Despite an economic boom, the average life satisfaction of US citizens remained the same from 1946 to 1970. There are many ways of measuring how happy a country is. Gross National Happiness Index, Human Development Index, Better Life Index, Happy Planet Index. Bhutan says says Mark Canosis. No, North Korea. Denmark is in at number 2. UK ranks bottom of a happiness index, top of the nonce index as blurst of times. Was it Bhutan that made happiness an official metric? I think it was. Anyway, this article is sort of fine. What about the indigenous population of New Zealand's Hispanic future? Yeah. Can we learn to be happy, it says here. Some studies say yes. In the top 10 happiest countries, immigrants make up around 70% of people, which is about twice the world average. Don't tell the sun. Immigrants improve a country. It's true. It's manifestly true, but people just fuck. Britain would be so shit without immigrants. So shit. Coming over as just using a bit of. Can we talk about what Denmark is doing to immigrants? Or yeah, well, exactly. C120 Mark notice exactly like the Scandinavian countries very often treat immigrants very fucking appallingly. Most happy place, a deserted island. C122 H122. Pay me more, I would be happy. Well, yeah, preach. Ice Dreams, a dedicated mission to Neptune or Uranus is the next step in exploring our solar system and fathering worlds elsewhere in the galaxy, but we must act fast, says planetary scientist Lee Fletcher. Now's the time for a mission to explore Uranus. Just putting that quote out there. Absolutely not being childish. In the Science of Cooking column, Sam Wong, the assistant news editor and self-appointed chief gourmand of New Scientist, talks about how to pickle stuff. Could you imagine your life without Irish immigration, says C122 H122? Well, yeah, exactly. And, immigrants coming over here, as Stuart Lee says in that overused routine, inventing us a national cuisine. Right, that's New Scientist. Do you know what? Again, it does pass Mark's train journey test. Absolutely passes the train journey test. Slinkermeyer, I wouldn't have been born without immigration. Yeah, at least we wouldn't have the fucking Pogues, says Mark. Notice I like the Pogues. Sorry, Mark. Yes, and actually, I wouldn't have been born either. If you go digging through my father's side of the family, it's Irish immigration, and a much earlier wave of it, nonetheless. Right, give me the scores for New Scientist. What do you think? I mean, yeah, like I say, Red Tick Seed wouldn't exist without immigration. Not sure anyone would have been. Yeah, but we're talking, recently. Yeah, you can go back. You can go back pretty far. 3.14 out of 10, says the Burnzoid. Mark Canosis says, train journey test passed. C122, H122, minus stem brain. Yeah, absolutely stem brain. Very sceptical of that happiness article, though. I'm extremely sceptical of it. I need to actually read it properly to further fuel my skepticism. Gonzo Socialism says, minus pi on Uranus. Mark Canosis, the dead paedophile implicated hand of Steven Pinker is upon us. Right, so now we move on to from fetishizing science to fetishizing entrepreneurs and productivity. So it's Fast Company magazine. How fast is that company? Right. So on the front page, Riz Ahmed looking pretty good. Inside, loads of adverts for shit. They're talking about reclaiming productivity. Fuck productivity. Mind over matter. In the era of body positivity, some companies are selling mindfulness as a way of losing weight. The approach is not as healthy as it seems. No shit. Also, this magazine loves very literal, weird, literal yet figurative illustrations. Slinkermeyer, Urge to Kill Rising. What is the point? I'll forgive a lot of things for that cover. Gonzo Socialism. It's Copen Capitalism Weekly. Want to see their take on crypto? Fuck productivity, says C122 H122. With its new public land stores, Dick's Sporting Goods is venturing further into the values-driven terrain that has defined its past few years. Very suspicious of all companies who claim to be values-driven. For good reason, of course. Making AI accessible to every enterprise is a fucking thing. There's so much. The thing about Fast Company as well is there's absolutely tons and tons of SpawnCon in it. SpawnCon everywhere. Red Tick Seed. So far, none of these magazines have been appealing. Space Jam. NASA astronaut Jeanette Epps is training to fly into the unknown. She shares how she prepares mentally and physically. She says, rely on your friends, work for what you want, focus on the work. Safdie Architects created a daring new skyscraper that reaches both up and across the skyline. Right. The 8-tower Raffles City complex in the southwestern Chinese city of Chongqing is a striking landmark with its two tallest towers rising 1,150 feet in the air. But all up in the sky, but also on the ground. The building creates new connections for the cities. Fucking hell, this is just like... This is an article, but it's just a promotion for these architects. We've left the coin zone and entered the realm of over-engineered and shit watches, says Rachology. Fully. And also just adverts for Cisco and companies like that say nothing. Deploy services your customers want, when and where they need them. Yeah, no shit. Fully in the Bitcoin zone. There's a really long SpawnCon article about 5G there. The most insidious thing about magazines like this is, look how this page is laid out, right? It just looks fairly like normally like an article, and then just in the bottom, created by Fastco Works Content Studio, which means, SpawnCon. Scent therapy. Aromatherapy is an easy, effective way to unwind at the end of the day. More SpawnCon. Loads of SpawnCon in here. My operating system. Kara Sabin, CEO of Sundials Brands, takes our career questionnaire. The questionnaires like that is suckatory. Do they have any writers of their own? It's literally all SpawnCon. There's tons of it. Look, there's another bit there. Created by and commissioned by M-Tech. More SpawnCon. Every other page is sponsored content here. This wooden Sudoku board made by Lucky's of London moves the classic game off the page and into your hands. The set includes 81 numbered pegs and a game guide with puzzles for both beginners and experienced players. Jesus Christ. 77% of US employees have experienced burnout at their current jobs. Here are the current biggest drivers. Capitalism itself is not mentioned there. So much SpawnCon. Child Labour but Woke by Bill Gates, says Planet Future. Yo, SK. Right, Fast Company have got an innovation festival coming up. Let's have a look at some of the people who are going to be there. That known innovator, Drew Barrymore. Also known innovator, Idris Elba. Quite good that there are actually quite a lot of women and people of colour on that page. Fair dues. But, Innovation Festival. Secrets of the most productive people. Right. Another great picture of Riz Ahmed, looking very Riz Ahmed. I mean... He wakes up at 7 or 7:30 a.m., doesn't really check social media, smart man, and he goes to bed about 10 p.m. Here's some shit saying like that we need to... Things you should do. Plan ahead. Don't hold meetings when you could just send an email. It's just like statements of the bleeding obvious. And they're saying, use emoji more. What is the point? Getting a Riz Ahmed photo shoot because that's the only way people will buy your magazine. Fully that. Who have they interviewed here? Friedrika Claren, head of sustainability at Polestar, which is a car company, isn't it? Anyway, like very boring photo of her. Focus like a laser, says Anthony Fauci. He wakes up at 5 a.m., goes to bed about 10 p.m. I mean... How applicable are the productivity tips of, like, a famous actor and the head of the director of the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases in the US. Probably not that much, is it? So what? I wake up at 6:45 and sleep at 2 a.m. says SK Crusader. Yeah, I wake up about 5. Whoopie do. Doesn't make me any more productive. It's to do with crushing existential dread. Candice Parker says you can work anywhere. That's bullshit as well. Quintana Bronson, comedian, producer, and showrunner, again wakes up about 5. More sponsored content, this time from Gaff. Giving new life to old roofing shingles, Gaff is blazing a path towards more environmentally responsible manufacturing. There's a thing here about a $3,000 bed that will apparently make you more productive. Fuck off. Research engineer at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, Grant Van Thorn, says he started out working out of his parents' spare bedroom. He wakes up at 5:55 and goes to bed about 10 p.m. This is a fucking awful magazine. So awful. It genuinely is. Here's a guy very much is going to really fuck you off, right? First, let's just look at him. Right? Now, when he says his job title is CEO, what do you think the CEO in his job title stands for? Cosmic Engagement Officer. His name is David Bronner and he runs Dr. Bronner's. What is Dr. Bronner's? Yeah, so this is a guy working for a family company pretending he isn't. I joined the company in 1997 when I was graduating from college. The one thing I knew I wasn't going to do was work for my family. I love my dad, mum and uncle, but I want to do my own thing. But eventually I got to a place where my experience with psychedelics helped me understand my grandfather is all one philosophy. It wasn't a straight line from there to joining the company, but it was definitely foundational. Great that he had the time of family wealth to fuck about, isn't it? Cunt of exponential order, says Mark Kenosis. Make up a new role so I can call myself CEO. Unless that bed, anyone who says they can work anywhere has not tried working anywhere. Burnzoid, make up a new role. Burnzoid, unless that bed is doing my work for me, it's not going to make me more productive. Panic Future, I prefer my capitalist propaganda in the form of Spectator. At least there I can have a laugh at their shit, disgusting arguments. Dr. Bronner's, is that the weird religious soap company? Seems like it. And his big quote, I make sure we're rocking everything we need to rock. Everyone who works with this man hates their life. Everyone. Mark Kenosis, okay, this mag is too much for me. I'm going to feed some swans to calm down. Cheers for the stream. Cheers, Mark. Good to see you. Model, author, entrepreneur and actor Emily Radikowski says, the more self-aware you become, the harder it is to write. This is fully a Nathan Barley magazine, as the Burnzoid says. She wakes up at 7 a.m. and goes to bed about 10:30. They all say the same fucking thing. Has everyone seen that Parliament is back? Well, that is good news. Make this stop, says Gethin Wyn Jones. Samantha Samsura Duffy, Forest Service, forest fire lookout, wakes up at sunrise, goes to bed at sunset. I spent all day down in the meadow disconnecting, she says. Oh, God. Sphere of influence. The Shernin Group is the secret engine that's powered such cultural influence as Hello Sunshine, Barstool Sports and Foods 52. Now it's betting on Web3. Is this a fucking VC company? It is, isn't it? Next big things in tech. Money, smart machines, AI and data. Every year you say this shit. Health, experiences. Inside the booming orbital economy and its impact at home. There's some cool pictures in that. Web3, fuck off. Yeah, this magazine is this could be the worst magazine we've ever covered. Anyway, lots of SpawnCon in there. Loads of like inspiration porn and entrepreneur bullshit. That is Fast Company magazine at minus 69. Classic negative nice. Web 1.0 was the best. This C122, H122. Fully agree. Right, and finally on today's mag special, we have reached Elle magazine. So, you know, returning towards, I guess, kind of the... I don't know. It's going to be bad. Minus 69, minus negative nice. Alan Sugar, you're fired. This Gonzo Socialism. Of Fast Company magazine. Deca negative nice from Slinkermeyer. Elle magazine, says Frugulus. Minus years my office job took off my life, says Watch the Point. And Gethin Wyn Jones, minus CEO. Right, Elle, have a bet now. How many pages of advertising before we hit content? I'm going to say 25 to 25 pages. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 16 pages, pretty short. The Burnzoid for Fast Company, whatever the minimum wage those cunts will pay people. C122, H122 minus negative nice. Guesses, 69 pages. No, 15, 35, 27, 16, 1672, says Gonzo Socialism. The closest guesses were the Burnzoid and Gonzo Socialism. As a teenager, Susie Boyd had always been aware of the dangers of the world around her, treading softly along its edges until a single night tempted her towards a different path. I read novels trying to find out everything about the world without stepping into... I read novels trying to find everything out about the world without stepping into it, she says. Right. Anyway, loads more pages of advertising, then a thing where they're trying to sell you various things. Some SpawnCon there. Some ugly clogs. There's an ad about coercive control by Women's Aid, which is really powerful, actually, and well done. When it's a pattern, it's abuse. Meet the Albanian designer bringing bodycon back to high fashion. She's called Nenzi Joka? Yeah. Anyway. I mean, they look like all bodycon dresses ever. There's a page on Celine's new candle, and they give it the headline, "Smells like Celine Spirit." I mean, I think he's probably glad he's dead. Let's see what the trends are. The trend. Youthquake. What the fuck? From mini to micro, hemlines are getting hotter and higher. This happens all the time. There's a fucking hem index. The mood. Time travel. Post-pandemic dressing goes dramatic, courtesy of Louis Vuitton. Does it now. High heels are back, apparently. Disco utility is in, which means the return of fucking cargo pants. The palette. Sunrise to sunset. Love heart. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Heart-shaped shit is back, apparently. Doing makeup like your child is back. Gonzo Socialism. Be odd if Celine's candle smelled of Gwyneth's Nunu. Could happen. Youthquake seems very old-fashioned. Fully old-fashioned. The trend. Here comes the sun. Beachwear is back. Yeah, in summer, beachwear is back. Stripes are back, apparently. Well, stripes never fucking went anywhere. Decadence is back. Yes, because we're a declining empire. The research arena. Team, stop forcing people to put their bodies on display. Yeah, agreed. Fluff Weasel, fuck bodycon. Agreed with that as well. Fuck bodycon, says the research arena. Agreed. Socks and sandals, apparently not back. The look, Black Swan. I mean, I feel like this eye makeup has been in for a long time. Street style, think pink. Pink is back, apparently. Pink fucking never went away. Say hello to the Haute Mess. Karen Dacre charts the emergence of fashion's undone muse. What the fuck does this mean? Who is this person? Who? I don't even know what this means. Oh, right, it's just like people who are kind of messy. FKA Twigs, they're talking about Honor Swinton Byrne, which is, I believe, is Tilda Swinton's daughter. Dua Lipa, Adwoa Aboa. Right, okay, whatever. Thrown together, look, it's just people wearing clothes. The Burnside says the trick is to have fat legs, so all jeans are skinny. What is the point? If it's not skinny jeans coming back into regular shops, I'm not interested. I miss them. It's February. What the fuck are they on about? Swimwear, says the Research Arena. When presenting as a man, this tech bro entrepreneur was the toast of Silicon Valley, and then she stepped into the boardroom as a woman. Okay. Natalie J. Egan was a self-described bro when sports metaphors rolled off her tongue and she tossed frisbees over employees' desks. She walked into a board meeting of the tech company she founded and brought along a scorecard, not for her, but for the board members. Okay. It's fine. Like... And they've got a panel here called Non-Binary Success. Talented individuals transition gender at the peak of their career, having found fame as female. Now they're able to enjoy their professional acclaim, embracing their identity as trans and non-binary. Let's talk about Elliot Page, Kay Tempest, Nathan Wrestling. Cool, fine, good. It's a nice feature. The Burnzoid, need to shoot, but have a good weekend. Have a good weekend to you. What's the point? Anyway, that was a nice feature. That was a great feature. The Nude Normal, venturing back into the world of dating after a decade of marriage, Stacey Duguid found herself sending... God, this woman just writes about this shit constantly. Found herself sending her first ever nude. But once she decided to reveal all, what would she uncover about herself in the process? Like... Not for a moment did I consider sending a nude to be a non-feminist act. My body, my choice. I was fully in control. Nudes have helped me relax with partners and be more confident expressing sexual desire. Why do people write these things as if they just discovered, like they are the first person to discover it? Frugis, was that a positive story about trans people in a British publication? It was, and it was a good, like, nicely shot, interesting feature. Lot of space for it. Yeah. Like, we've got to celebrate that. That's a great thing. Right, Dakota Johnson comes from a line of impactful women, a.k.a. she has celebrity parents. As she makes her own mark, Molly Creedine meets her to talk matriarchs, motherhood, and making movies, and she's wearing someone's carpet. Anyway, big long feature there. It's fine. The shoot is very, like, 70s. Sort of large 70s. With every fashion season comes a fresh approach to style. This is pretty good. Different body shapes and body types. That's cool. Well, a little bit, and then it goes very skinny again. But no, it's still a mixture. That's cool. Pages and pages of that. Lots of random nipples. Then there's a thing about sponsored content about Audi. Rachel Schulte, trans positivity disgraceful. Demand that Elle's license fee be scrapped. Yeah, well, it's great. It's great to be able to talk about some trans positivity, isn't it? On this stream, given that we normally do the British newspapers, where such a thing is basically impossible. Lauren Bacall, Bianca Jagger, and other stars from bygone eras are inspiring a new wave of cool girl hairstyles. When did they not? Right, there's a load of, like... Pistachios are apparently the snack for those who don't snack. I mean... Shut up. And on the back page... My Fashion Life by Margaret Howell, the celebrated designer, 75, explains the power of practicality and why comfort really is the ultimate luxury. And on the back page, an ad for Fendi, which is pretty cool. To be honest, as fashion magazines go, that Elle was good. Trans positivity in that advert, in that feature, some shoots with a range of body types. You know, obviously, fashion magazine, it has a lot of inherently toxic shit in it. and Elle is no different. But that's a positive. Gonzo Socialism says, good to hear of a license fee withdrawal that doesn't encourage the mention of ostrich anus. Got to get a plus 69 for being trans positive. Yeah, I do think so. I think that there's some not great stuff in there too, but that is good. That is good, and we can only applaud that and encourage more of that. If you have liked the show today, do consider chucking some coins into the newspaper fund. Basically, the Friday edition generally costs about between 20 and 30 quid, as well as the general cost of the week for the papers. But I love doing the show, and I get a lot out of it too. So paypal.me/conquest the useless if you want to throw some coins into the pot. And if you can, something you can do for free that really would help me is if you can share the current newspaper. The current newsletter, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. It's about the BBC, and it's quite critical of it, and it's about structural issues and history and all kinds of stuff. Took a lot of research. Would really appreciate if you check that out. SK the Crusader says, wait until you hear how much the cocktail stream will cost me. When is the cocktail stream, and what is your stream tonight, SK? Cheers, Link. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you all have good weekends. I haven't done the roll call today. Let me just do the roll call. Yeah, I'm the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. In the mod squad is SK the Crusader. He's streaming later. Adept W is here. Hi, Ashflax McNulty, Aiton, Bear Pavlova, Blurst of Time, C122, H122, Chris McRae, Commander Root, Elysian, Fanatic. Fanatic. I said Fanatic. This motherfucker said Fanatic. Fluffweasel, Frugulus, Gethin Wyn Jones, Heathmore 2401, Cap6, Mini Big Eye, Panicked Future, Parps, Rachology, Red Tickseed, Rimastino, Slinkermeyer. Do check her out on Instagram. I mean, her photography is insanely good. 1727, Spike Trap Claire, Stream Elements. No, that's a bot that I use. Super Gladio World. Hello. Research Arena is also excellent. Do check her out when she is streaming. The Royal Flush is here. V&K is here. And What Is the Point? As last but not least. Yeah, and some other people here who have now gone, including Mark Kenosis, who was driven mad by Fast Company. YouTube Zone tonight from SK the Crusader. Cocktail stream on the 29th. Rachel, you should figure out raids as a way to promote yourself on Twitch. I do raids sometimes, but I also have to close the Google Chrome browser when I'm doing this, so that the limited amount of memory doesn't shit itself over. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe if you could do any of those things. No, Rachel, that was no. Always suggest things fully. Oh, is Geds on? I will raid Geds. I love Geds is fucking great. I'll go and raid Geds. And then I'll go and watch Geds. Thank you for the shout there, SK. That's a good call. Gonna do the raid. Gonna raid it good. Okay. Raid a channel. Come on. There he is. Okay, we're off to go and see Geds now. See you on Monday, everyone. Have a good one. I'll try and check in on the stream tonight, SK.